Now, the reason why I feel inclined to share things about the year ahead is I have felt and I've been channeling, as many others have equally, whether that be if you're someone who follows astrology. I know Pam Gregory has talked about it, Bashar has talked about it, Richard Rudd has talked about it, that 2026 and 2027 are significant years. And I was inspired by my guides to channel a month by month recording of what that looks like. Now, this is on YouTube. I'll share the link with you, but I wanted to just kind of take a moment and give you a short recap of what that looks like collectively. If you also have been feeling like your life's about to shift, like things are going to be different, like this feeling of you don't know what's next, but something is coming, I would really recommend considering booking a session. So, what this looks like, very brief. January, the energy is inviting light workers, if that language resonates, or I like just saying awakened or conscious souls to lock in, focus in your lane, stay in your lane. You're kind of rooting in and locking in place. February's energy collectively is very self-oriented. This is intentional, but it is also very fixed energy. When I channeled this was emphasized. When I looked up the astrology for February, there is a lot of fixed energy that backs this up. What this means is it may be a time where people aren't really as open to hear your opinions or your suggestions of how things are supposed to shift. And that's okay because this energy is working itself out. Now, in March, there will be collectively a lot of testing limits and perhaps attempts for control. In April, the energy that came through very much was a collective rising. There was a lot of frequency of people coming together, finding their tribe. If their path was one towards expression, in the form of standing up for something, this energy would arise in these individuals. Collectively, we could be seeing things like boycotts or strikes or shutdowns, things along that lines. For May, the energy very much was intense collectively as things are playing out, and the guidance came more towards those awakened to understand this is a time you're invited to come into deep rest within the self, and this will be a time to possibly hermit or be within, and this energy will help fill your cup to be able to move forward in the months that are ahead, which will increase in intensity. For June, the information that came through is there could be possibly some sort of new information released significantly regarding technology. Although this had an energy frequency that, while this may be actually positive, that equally so it would not be great or appreciated by systems of control. So there could be distractions, or misinformation shared to distort what was coming through. Now, for July and August, these will be the most intense energetic feelings collectively. In August, in astrology, we're going to have two eclipses, and the energy there felt, I'll be honest, fairly intense. When channeling, the information that came through is we could be looking at moments of destiny points, pivotal crossroads in collective journeys and illusion. If there is a false disclosure, this would be a time in which there could be things along that lines where we are systems of power may suggest certain things are taking place that actually are not intended or not as they appear, an element of illusion. Now, for September, the energy felt as if the months prior really opened doors for new ways of thought and consideration. And September actually had a very curious energy about it when I channeled it. New possibilities, but also the months that preceded it will stir energy that kind of, wants to solve or find solutions. So there could be a lot of mental energy in the month of September that could be disorienting. Now, for October, this was significant, and the sense of collectively, this is a month of, for those on the fence of where they stand, you will be kind of faced with multiple circumstances to make your decision, make your choice. So those who may be saying, "Yeah, I want this new earth, this new world, this new way of being," but yet I'm not comfortable with the work it takes to get there, or I'm acknowledging I have comfort in these systems of powers, and not wanting to let that go. So anyone that is on a fence with where we are collectively going at that time, there will be an increase in circumstances that invite you to decide. Now, I personally have channeled my own yearly for myself and my partner, and this month for us was very positive in a lot of life force energy and new gifts arising. So I am feeling that for those awakened that have made those decisions, you'll start to see an increase in vitality and possibility. In November, the energy was very much focusing on the possibility of a first contact experience or disclosure authentically. And this depends on the collective energy. And what came through when I was channeling is, even if it was not the ripe time, ripe energetically, then there would be increasingly more first contact experiences personally. Either way, the collective narrative, you may start seeing more conversation of things and, what is possible, misinformation, and just kind of sorting through where we are globally going as it relates to that collectively. Now, once we reached December, the energy was beautiful collectively. There was a lot of momentum and magic and possibility. And when I channeled, they brought this up in the sense of, for example, having a newly awakened experience, that beautiful first moment where you feel like your eyes are open and everything is just magical and your gifts are opening, and this high frequency of possibility will be what helps us fuel the months ahead, that will help us to go through the more difficult times in actually implementing the changes that we need to make to be in the world we wish to live. This will be a process, but in December, the energy felt very, very beautiful. In November, December, I remember also in the channeling, they said the possibility for there to be a significant rise or increase in spiritual modalities, specifically for the last group of people that are really kind of considering things. And it's important to understand not everybody will be, choose to live in this new reality. But for those that were kind of still on the fence, we could see an increase in spiritual modalities related to systems like astrology, numerology, human design. So any practitioners of more system-based will be sought after for those skeptical, logical, or mind-based individuals that want to see some sort of proof. So that is the energy that was coming through. for the year ahead. So I hope that this was beneficial for you. And it is, I feel very strongly, as many others do, that it is going to be a very pivotal year. If you are interested in a session, now would be the time to explore that. I'm also offering a condensed or short version that will just be an Akashic record overview of the year for private sessions. All right, that's all I have. And I wish all of you so much love. And I am looking forward to connecting more with each and every one of you. Bye.